Mhm.
Hey, all right. So I am now on the line with a Miss Damla Peker. You are a Urban Kizomba teacher who is born and raised in Berlin. You also have a weekly class every week. On is it Urban Kids or Kizomba? How would you classify it?
Hello. Yes, I have weekly classes on Wednesdays in Berlin, and the class just had started in February. I had classes before, but this is now after a pause of a half a year, a new start for me. And I'm calling the dance that I'm teaching and the dance that I'm dancing Urban Kizomba. So I really pronounce both words. I don't call it Urban Kiz or just Kizomba. I call it Urban Kizomba because for me, um, I'm dance. I like the dance is including either Urban Kiz and also Kizomba elements. So and basics, especially the Kizomba basics. Yeah.
Okay, I definitely understand that. I definitely do. I would definitely want to get into all that, but let's start here. So I've never had the chance to visit Berlin, Germany, although I was born in Germany. I would love to hear, what was your childhood like growing up in Berlin? What was that like for you?
Yeah, my childhood, it's a long story, which I will try to explain in a short version. Yeah, I grew up in a Turkish family, actually cultural, I would say, a traditional Turkish family, but in comparison to other Turkish families, my family had been actually always more modern than others. And yeah, I was able to have and meet friends and also male friends, so they were not too strict with religion or stuff like this. So I had quite more freedom than maybe other Turkish girls of my age. Um, and yeah, I was always focusing on school and try to have good marks in school. And I had always the goal to study, and I wanted to satisfy my family because everybody expected it from me, especially as a woman, to be independent when I'm grown up. So I tried to fulfill these expectations always. But to be honest, I didn't really do a lot for myself, what I really want to do. And like, for example, dancing was always a passion in my childhood, but I didn't really dance in my childhood because I didn't have any possibilities. Like, my parents never, yeah, uh, gave me the chance to go to a dance class, or I was always interested in hip hop, for example, or similar dances. I watched a lot of series or movies and anything with dance related or pop stars, things like this. And I was really admiring this, and I wanted to learn how to dance, and I found it very cool. But I didn't have the possibility. Only maybe playing an instrument I could do, but not for a long time, because then at some point my marks in school weren't so good, so that I had to decide between having continuing playing the instrument or going to an extra class to have better mark in mathematics and so on. So I had again to decide something that's doesn't which makes more sense for my future. But now, as I'm grown up and working and owning my own money, I try to do more for myself and what I really want to do. And yeah, that's it
Yeah, I
for now.
understand that. I'm curious, so what instrument did you play?
I played piano for maybe 3 years, actually quite intensively. But yeah, after 3 years, I had to decide for yeah, mathematical classes. Yeah.
I'm curious, you say you grew up in a Turkish household. How how much of, I guess, how much of an impact did music have in your household growing up?
Actually, a lot when I think about it now, because my father played guitar, but the Turkish guitar. I don't know if Emma does that, like it's more the cultural music, and a lot of Turkish men are playing the Turkish guitar. It's something so normal when a male kid is born, then it's like kind of so natural to put this child into a guitar class to learn this. And even I have been there, and some other female girls in my family and neighborhood, but I was not that much into guitar. So when my parents noticed that I'm playing piano with my toy piano, then they noticed that this is something that interests me, and luckily they put me there in classes, and this also gives me a lot of advantages when it comes to understanding music and musicality and stuff like this.
I definitely understand that. I definitely do. I don't think I really know too many Turkish people. Well, I guess what was that household like growing up?
Actually normal. I mean, just father, mother, and my brothers. We had been in one household, and but some Turkish people, they live in a more generation household. They have like the grandfathers, grandmothers in the same household as the parents, and then the children. So three generations in one household. We have this in our family. My grandparents stayed with my aunt and my uncle and their children, but in my case, it was not like that. So we were only the nuclear family together, but we visited each other always a lot. But in these times now, it's not like that anymore. We don't really visit each other anymore that much. We see each other only on weddings or really special days, I would say.
Okay, sorry about that. And so I guess I'm curious, tell me this. Is there was dancing a big part of your household, or is that like a big part of Turkish culture, like any traditional dances or anything like that?
Dancing is in our culture, yeah, a very big point, as music it is as well, because we are dancing on weddings a lot, like the Turkish folklore, which is more something also in Kurdish culture, I think. We are sharing a little bit of the Kurdish culture, but we are Turkish. So, but we are dancing mixed, and I know that other Oriental cultures have the same folklore dances. That they dance in a circle and everybody like hands on hands and stuff. I love this a lot when I was a child, and I still like it. To go to Turkish cultural weddings and dance these dances, and there you also learn a lot in dancing in the rhythm, because there's this kick, boom taka boom taka boom taka. This is all day, all night, and for hours, and really very very loud, and you hear this kick and you step on this kick, and yeah, so you're learning very fast to dance in this rhythm, and everybody is dancing in this rhythm. That's why I would say the Turkish people really have a good sense of rhythm. um yeah, we have also belly dance in our culture, I would say, but I have nothing to do with belly dancing, to be honest. I wished I had, but I don't.
Okay, okay. I don't really know so much about belly dance either, but I definitely understand that. So going back to, I guess, your youth and childhood, do you remember what you wanted to be when you grew up?
um yes, I always wanted to be a teacher, to be honest. Yeah, but that time it was to be a teacher in a school, of course, normal, teaching them German lessons or so. But yeah, then after I was interested in psychology, but yeah, it never really came true. And that's okay for me. I'm now a nurse, so I became something totally different than I expected or wanted, but I'm totally okay with this. And let's say at the end of the day, I'm still a teacher, not in school, but in a dance school. And I have my classes and I'm teaching people how to dance Kizomba or Urban Kizomba. And this already satisfies me, or even more than satisfying, it really fulfills me.
Okay, I definitely understand that. I definitely do. Tell me about I I want to kind of hear about your time once you become, an adult. So once you hit 18, do you go to university or, do you go straight to working? What do you do?
Yes, I went to school as long as one can, I think. After the 10th class, here in Germany, we need to do something that's called Abitur, and this you need to do for 3 years. And to be able to study with this degree that you get, you can study. And I think in other countries, especially for example in Turkey, this doesn't exist. After the 10th class, they just have to do a test, and when they have the good mark for it, then they can go directly to study in the university, and they are pretty young. But as I had to do this Abitur after the 10th class, like 13 years school, and with a good degree, and then I was able to go to study. So I was already quite old. I'm sorry, I was quite old when I started studying, and then I studied, and I also did another formation, 3 years education to be a nurse. So I went at least 20 years to school, actually. So all my
Oh.
life, all until I earned money.
Well, what made you decide on nursing?
Um, I actually said it in the wrong way because I first did the formation for a nurse and then I studied. And this is the reason that I did the formation for as a nurse, because I didn't get immediately a university course, university place. Even I had done the 3 years Abitur after studying, after the 10th degree. So because in Germany, we don't have a lot of space in the universities, and not everybody can study, and only the best with the best marks, and that's why I didn't have as good marks, and I wanted to do something in this time, and I used it to be a nurse. Yeah, so why nurse? I don't know really.
I understand. It's something to pay the bills. I definitely understand that. What
Mm.
let's talk about your introduction into dancing. How did that come about?
um can you say that again, please?
Yeah, of course, no worries. How did you first get introduced into, I guess, social dancing? How did that happen?
Oh, when I studied, I didn't have a lot of money, as you can imagine. And in the university, we have always a university sport. There's a big program from A to Z. And I was always interested in dancing in dancing tango, sorry, in dancing tango. And by that time, when I started tango, I noticed that I don't really like the music. Sorry for everybody. I love tango really a lot, and I imagine the music is something very nice, and but to me, can't really feel it, and it's not so modern enough for me. I prefer non-tango music. You can imagine it a little bit like kizomba music, samba music, and in comparison to this, all these instrumentals, remixes, or I don't know, um, for example, Afro beats, and yeah, everything what everybody calls urban kiss music. Um, it's the same with tango. It's as if they would play at the parties only samba and kizomba, and uh, urban kiss is just maybe 10% there. And I preferred to have kizomba tango music and non-tango music 50-50. But as it was like only almost really tango music, and which was a little bit oldish for me, I didn't like tango anymore. So I was thinking, what else could I do? And a friend by that time recommended me to do a Kizomba, and I didn't know what this is. And when he showed me Kizomba videos, I was like, no, no, never in my life I'm gonna dance this dance. What do you think who I am? No, 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 no. I was really like thinking this dirty dance is not what I will ever do, you know? And for someone who's not used to this, and comes from a family like me and sees this, because by that time I watched Sarah Lopez video with Albir, and Sarah Lopez has a very nice, you know, and when she dances, it looks so extremely sexy, and I was too conservative, and I think I'm actually still conservative, but this was like too much for me, and yeah, and I thought like, no, I'm not gonna dance like this. I cannot shake my butt like this, nah, nah, nah. And but then I ended up in the class, and I noticed that in class we actually didn't dance like this, because my first hours at Kizomba had been really traditional, authentic Kizomba with a teacher who teaches authentic, and we didn't do moves like this. And I was like, okay, so this was probably just a style, and I don't have to dance like this. Yeah, so I stayed with Kizomba.
What year or how long ago were you first introduced to Kizomba? How long ago was that?
Um, I didn't understand the question.
When were you first introduced to Kizomba? What year?
Oh, I was introduced to Kizomba in 2016, but the end of 2016, and my first class ever was in October 2016.
Okay, so I wanted to ask you about that Sarah Lopez video. What are your thoughts on I'll say the sexualization of maybe maybe we could say Kizomba specifically. Do you think it's beneficial to get people involved in it, or do you think that it kind of detracts from the dance? What are your thoughts on that?
I think it attracts people to dance. Actually, it's something attracting, um, because I noticed that a lot of non-dancers, they're attracted by this kind of movements. Um, Everything that looks sexy, let's say sensual, um, and a little bit like bachata, or with elements from zouk. I don't know, all these big movements with the body, you know, all the sexy arms and moving with the hip, and the more they do in the videos, and the more fancy it looks like, and the more complicated, and at the same time musical, the more it attracts non-dancers to watch to watch it, even at first, because you need to get the attention of non-dancers if you want to introduce the dance, and then this kind of dancing is actually even needed, because otherwise it will not catch the attention from someone. So yes, I think it's something it's needed. Yeah.
No, I definitely understand that. I definitely, and I think, like you said, for you, that's what you initially saw. But once you started taking the class, you realize that that's not, that's a specific style, right? It's not what's required in Kizomba.
Yes, I noticed that it is her individual style. It's not even the dance, and that is this style, because it's only her who can dance like this. I didn't see any other woman who were really able to exactly dance this way, so that it looked the same way. And with Sarah Panero, maybe, yes, it was also very sexy, like Sarah Lopez and Sarah Panero, kind of the same, I would say, sexy representatives as a person. But then a lot of other videos, um, I didn't see exactly the same way of moving. So I noticed it's really a style of her individually.
I definitely understand that. Let me ask you this for, I think even you said you were somewhat intimidated for someone else who may be intimidated to start Kizomba. What would you say to that person who's scared to take a dance class?
Um, I would recommend to everybody who's interested in this dance to give it a try and take classes and ask, depending on where they live, which Kizomba teachers there are. And because it's easy to find out on Facebook or Google, you can find out when you put, for example, you live in, I don't know where, in London, then you put Kizomba London, and then you can already find the teachers there, I think. And then, and just try to contact and go there and try out, and maybe at the beginning, try out all the teachers, because at first you don't know who is really teaching well, and which style do you like, and just try them all, let's say every teacher 3 times, and then try to find your teacher, because not every student is everybody's student, and not every teacher is everybody's teacher. That's my opinion on how I see it. And so give it a try, and then you can see where do you want to stay. So one day you will find your way, you will find your individual class that suits to you and your approach, and then stay on it. Like don't stop taking classes. Take classes at least for 2 years, at least, actually. And then you can also go to other classes to improve and learn about other styles or other step combinations, maybe other influences, but never stop taking classes. Yeah.
Okay. Since we're speaking on that, I would love to hear about your beginner stage in Kizomba. What was that like for you?
When I was a beginner, I was a very ambitious student, and I was taking classes from a lot of teachers, even if I found them not so very good, let's say, as teachers, or not so very good in their dance, but I still tried to take everything from everywhere that I could, and I tried to filter what's a good information and what maybe not so. And I took classes, weekly classes in Berlin for a very long time, and I took classes at festivals. When I went to festivals, I did all workshops. We have a workshop schedule at festivals, and then the evening parties and the socials where they dance during the day. And I never had been to any social, because I went to the workshops from the first hour until the end, until I was really like almost losing my conscience, like that I was really like so dead. Okay, so dead, and I couldn't concentrate anymore. If you would ask me in which city are you, I would say where was it? I couldn't anymore. Like my brain was so drained. Okay, all this information from the classes, then my body was tired and everything. And yeah, I did this until when the pandemic was over in 2022. I think dancing was allowed, or 2021 was already some parties. And this was the first time that I even had been to a social, that I didn't go to the workshops, but danced at the social. It was so weird for me to dance during the day, because I was used to do all the workshops until the end and then go to sleep, eat, sleep, shower. And then I went to the party, and I stayed only for 3 hours or something, only for until 2 a.m. because I needed to go to sleep and next day and attend to the first workshop again. So this kind of student I had been.
I, you brought up a lot of good points there. What are the benefits? So of course you know the benefits of going to a class and learning the dance. What are the benefits of attending socials?
Socials are a very cool thing. I like it. I mean, I'm now going to socials. I do only 1 or 2 workshops per festival, depending on who's teaching, who I want to join, and if the time is okay. If it's the first workshop in the day, then not. But if it's the time suits me to my sleep, yes, then I do. And what was the question again?
I said for maybe new students who are new to the dance, we know the benefits of attending a class. What are the benefits of going to socials?
Yes, I would recommend, I would say first work and then fun. Okay. And everybody says, yeah, I'm dancing to have fun. Yeah, I'm going to festivals to have fun. I'm paying to have fun and not to work. And yeah, this is my free time, and I'm not gonna get a teacher. I don't have this approach. I don't need that many classes. I prefer to go to socials. It's more fun than classes. Okay, because everybody has another approach, and you can't expect from everybody to have the same approach as you had in the past and still. But the advantage of taking classes is of course that you improve in another way, and I don't believe that you improve on socials, because a lot of people think that they learn and improve on the dance floor and they don't learn a lot in classes. So the choice of classes had been probably not correct. And because I still do learn in workshops, so I don't know why would someone not learn. Doesn't make so much sense to me, but I respect this. And for those who say they are learning on the dance floor, I'm not so sure if I could confirm this, because if I dance with those people who didn't take classes, I actually notice exactly this person didn't take classes. But of course, nobody's going to communicate to you and say, I'm sorry, but dancing with you doesn't feel so good. And that's why I switch a little bit quicker than I dance with anyone else. Or maybe they get their how do you call, let me check this word, their confirmation by having good dances with good dancers. Then this is for them already okay. As this person is dancing for me for so long and feels so good and everything is working, the leading is working, so I am following without doing mistakes. They think that they don't need classes because they already had this great dancers on the dance floor. And yeah, I see this a little bit critic. Yeah, it's a little bit a problem for me, because I find it a bit pity to excuse not to go to classes because of that, the fact that they have already so nice dancers. Yeah, but it is how it is, and I am already fine with this fact, and we cannot change this reality.
That's definitely something I have experienced as well. People who have that mindset of just learning on the dance floor instead of at actual classes. I definitely understand that. You spoke on something else earlier, how for maybe a beginner, they may not know what's a good teacher versus a bad teacher. I wanted to ask you, what are some traits or characteristics that a good teacher has?
Thank you so much for this question. Of course, a non-dancer, a beginner, someone who doesn't have any experience with dancing, dance teachers, dance lessons, of course, doesn't have the comparison and they cannot know. Okay. But I said a few questions before, I said, try out, if possible, all teachers, because when you try out them all and you have a little bit sense of logic, you use your brain, then you can see who is explaining details, who can answer to the questions properly, who is correcting you what nobody else ever did, who's putting your shoulder down, who's telling you that you are too stiff, who's telling you this and that. So some students, they take classes and the teachers only teach the steps, Okay, they say, okay, we're going to do 1, we're going to do 2, we're going to do 3, we're going to do 4, but they don't really explain how to do the 1 and how to get there and how to open the woman, how to close properly. And it's not but just doing this and this, you know. So there's a technique, so you need to properly explain and then check if they do or not. So if the execution is wrong, you have to correct. And this the students need to see. The students need to see this, the difference of which teacher is doing it and which is not just showing the step. And then if you want, then because you like the steps, then go to this teacher who teaches the steps, but go as well to the other one who explains you the details that nobody else does, so that you have at least one teacher is correcting, okay, going into the detail, and the other teacher is, when you are already able to dance in this correct way, giving you input for a new dance combination. So it's a totally other goal, you know. One is you want to have a correct, good posture, you want to have a good weight shifting, you want to have a good frame leading, you want to have that your follower is not compressed in your arms, so everything needs to be really like it's supposed to be. And then the other teacher is just giving you input for other step combinations, which maybe the other teacher is not able to give you. And I have a very good example because, for example, I, in my opinion, think that I can teach all levels, okay, and beginner, intermediate, advanced, but I have one thing is missing in my dance, and this is when somebody is looking for tango elements, let's say, okay, because I don't have a lot of tango elements in my dance. So I would recommend to come to my class because I go a lot of in details. I take care of if the basics are really properly learned and all the stuff that's actually needed to start to dance as a good dancer. And then take parallel classes with the teacher who is teaching the tango elements, but don't miss my classes because then the basics are missing, because the other teacher who's teaching the tango elements is maybe not that much going into the details that I'm going to. So sometimes the combination is also something that brings an even better flower, and the flower doesn't look exactly like me, and the flower also doesn't look exactly like the other teacher. Then it's going to be a mix, but a good mix, you know. That's what I think.
Okay. I definitely understand that.
Mm.
I have two questions I want to ask you. I'm trying to think about what order, but talk to me about private classes versus group classes.
Yeah, I get a lot of complaints from students, either in Berlin and also internationally when I'm at festivals, or people text me on Messenger, people I don't even know, that group classes doesn't help them. Group classes doesn't help them to improve. They don't come forward with what they do. The level is so low. Only beginners are going to the class, which is actually supposed to be an intermediate class or level or an advanced class. So they stop going to classes because of that. So group classes has this kind of image that only beginners are there and they're not able to dance, and that's why intermediate dancers and advanced dancers who are actually willing to do classes are not going to classes, because of those beginners who are doing a kind of inflation of the intermediate courses and the advanced courses, because you can't even really do advanced stuff there. It's not possible with this student. So you have to go down with the level. If you don't go down with the level, the result of what's coming out is not what I want, because then everything looks so ugly, you know, because they try to somehow do the step, but it doesn't feel good, it doesn't look good. And I know that the followers don't want to be put in this step with this kind of force. And that's why you have to go lower to have a proper building up properly the level to where we want to go. And private classes have the advantage, it's expensive, but it has the advantage that teachers can really do what is needed for your level, like really go exactly in what you need, adapt to your level, and then teach you everything that's needed. And it goes a bit quicker because as the teacher is only focusing on you, as soon as you are able to do the one step, it goes to the next one. the teacher is going to the next one, and to the next one, to the next one. And always when you got something, the next element is going to come. And you practice with a good example also, because when you dance with the teacher and you learn a step, then the teacher is leading you, or you are leading the teacher when it's a female teacher, then they see the good example, how it's supposed to feel like. And in classes, sometimes, for example, when I attend as a follower or as a leader, it feels sometimes so bad. The leader is pushing and pulling me very hardly, or the followers are so heavy, so I have to either push or not do the step. So I need to decide. And then I can notice that these bad examples make you push and pull even more, because you don't know how it is to not push, because you had not the chance to dance like this. And in private classes, and you have a good example, the level is according to your level, and you get much more attention, and you progress much faster and much better. And yeah, but it's expensive, and I know that students don't want to invest because it seems so much money. But when I compare my group classes with my private classes, and I can say that with the same amount of money, my private student reaches this level in 2 weeks. If we do 3 hours in a week, then someone else in 3 months. 2 weeks, 3 months, same level. But the one who took the private classes is better than the one in group classes, because the one in group classes didn't get that much attention from me than the private student. But it's actually they invested, yeah, the private student invested a bit more money, of course, because it's more expensive than the one who had group classes.
I definitely understand that. In the private class, you get that one-on-one instruction. You know, it's specified to you specifically. So I definitely understand that.
Mm-hmm.
Talk to me about the importance of the fundamentals, the basics.
I love these questions. You know, it's like building a house without a good fundament if you don't do basics, you know, because then everything will break down, and when it breaks down, it hurts. And it's exactly the way it feels like when I dance with someone who doesn't have proper basics. It really hurts. It hurts on my back, it hurts on my shoulders, it hurts on my neck. I have always back pain with someone who has bad or not good basics, because the posture is not good. It's not comfortable for my neck. The arms are up, shoulders are up, and everything that my partner is doing, I have to mirror, because I cannot have a relaxed neck and shoulders if my partner doesn't, because he's putting my weight up and my shoulders up, because my arms are over his arm, and if he's putting up, mine is up. So the only option I have is maybe to go down, you know, and have my arms where his belly back is. But why would I do this? I don't want to dance like this. I want to dance in the proper dance posture, and I want it to be comfortable, and I want my shoulders to be relaxed and down. I want my neck to be relaxed and my head go back, and I don't want to have a head pressed on my head, you know, so that I am like this, and this after a while hurts. So many things, and this is not even considered as basic. This is just the dance posture. It starts already with the dance posture, and then also basic steps. If they are not properly, then everything else feels so like, you know, like a bad movie with a bad camera movement and lights, as if the sound and everything was bad, you know, when the basics are not properly. And the basics, I had done a video that's like more than 5-6 minutes, where I'm talking about the importance of basics. And this, I can repeat this only: learning properly basics, so that you can say you took a basics class, takes actually 1 year with me. And you have to do 1 year this basic class, fundamentals class, or beginner class, you can call it as you want, and come weekly to my class without missing too much. Then only then you can say that you had learned the basics properly, and only then I would give you this the okay to go to intermediate classes. But before, I would say finish first going to basic classes. But I know not a lot of teachers teach basics for so long and so intensively. They probably don't have this curriculum, but for me, and I know some have, it's important, and we do, and I hope that more and more teachers put focus on the basics for more longer time than just 3 hours and then do already some pivot or so. I'm sometimes shocked when I see when a student comes to me and says, "Hello, Damla, I had done this in this class with this and this teacher from the beginning until the end of the advanced class. I did all, and I would like to dance with you, and I would like to hear your opinion." And then I dance with this person, and this person is really not even able to do walking forward. It was not even possible to walk forward. And but then there was the leg lift or a drop down, and I was like, wow. And then when he wanted to attend my class, I said that he has to attend to my beginner class, and then he felt offended. Like, how could I say, the one who had learned from X, Y, Z and advanced level, how could I even dare to say to come to my beginner class? Like, and then I'm like, do you know what this and this step is? Do you know this and this? Have you ever heard from this and this? What is it? Then I say, okay, I can show you. Maybe you know the step, but you just don't know the name. Then I show, and then no, I hadn't done this yet. So I said, yeah, this and much more you learn in my classes. So what can I say? I'm speechless.
I definitely understand that. There's so many places we could go with that, but you brought up something earlier that I wanted to touch upon. For followers out there, I don't know if you could put this into words, but how are you able to teach a follower to be light instead of heavy?
Just don't use your arms. Don't use your hands. Keep your hands behind your back and dance everything that you can just with your body. That's already your frame. And it should be possible. Like, actually, I would say almost everything is possible only with frame. Of course, it's difficult. The more technical and openings and stuff a figure has, the more likely it's not going to work, and you need to practice a lot to be able to do this. But we know from, for example, JP and Steffi, that they're able to do this. There are quite a few demos where JP is not using his hands and arms at all. Like, his hands are really behind his back. I had seen this, and I know it's possible, and I'm also working on this a lot. So it's possible, and at the moment where you don't use your frame and you learn, I mean, your hands, you learn how to follow without being led by the hands strongly, because there are no hands at all. So you are forced to follow to the chest of your partner. You're forced to keep the connection to the body, the belly, the legs, the feet of your partner. You have no other chance. Otherwise, you are lost. In the moment where you lose the connection, you are not in the dance anymore. So you come back in the connection. Then you try again. When you lose, another try, come back. And then you lose less and less the connection until you have it. And you are able to almost not lose it at all anymore. And then the leader can go one step more in a more difficult step combination and try it again with you, and so on. And then you can use the frame, put your hands back where they are supposed to be, actually, because we don't want to dance like this on the dance floor. It's just to practice and to prove that you don't need it. Okay, this, after proving it, you can put it back and then dance so smoothly. Don't use, just don't really touch the woman. Like, touch her, but don't touch her. Okay, leave the hand there. Just have contact to where is the shirt. Okay, it's here, and then don't touch it. And then lead everything you want just with your intention. And then the follower will get more and more sensitive to listening more carefully. Where is this chest? Is it turning? Okay, it's turning. Is he going backwards? Oh, I'm not going to lose the connection, so I'm going to go forward because he's going backwards, and the other way around. So everything makes the follower being more concentrated and yeah, like like a snail comes out, and then you're much more, your radar is more open. And when the leaders are using stiff frame, like hard hands here on the back and hard there, and then you make your step actively, step, and you have any contract here, then this is already for the follower. Why would I try to listen when it's already so convenient? He's making me move. Why would she improve anything? She doesn't know better. She learned it like this, and
I,
she's
I,
used to
I definitely understand that, especially
it.
as a leader, when you're tense, the follower kind of feels that and it kind of like translate into her and that experience for them. So I definitely understand that. You said
Mm.
you said this word frame. Talk to me about frame.
Yeah, you want me to give you my secrets?
I
No,
would love to hear your secrets.
no, I'm joking. Of course, it's something that everybody knows and teaches, but yeah, the frame is something that gives space to the follower. Okay, it's a space in which the follower is allowed to move. Okay, or able to move, and I am with my frame giving her the size of her steps, the information to do a weight shift or not, the information to stop or block. I make her walk forward or backwards or sidewards with my frame. Okay, and the frame is either able with the chest. Okay, from the shoulders, chest, belly, like your presence, your body presence, let's say. Or when you offer your arms and you have like the beginning and the end of your frame, then you have the dance posture, your body and your arms together, which are completing your frame. And then with this, you are able to dance, and yeah, your follower is moving within this frame, and she as well has her own frame, with which she's keeping my frame.
I feel like this is something that's kind of hard to speak about and mostly something you have to feel correct and something you learn over time. Is that correct? Or
Can you say that again, please?
I feel like frame is a very hard concept to grasp like mentally or visually. It's something you have to like experience and
Mm.
feel. Oh, and you learn it over time. Does that make sense?
Yes, maybe for someone who didn't dance at all, maybe is not so used to it, but actually they learned very quickly, because the frame is this what gives um, security to the follower. And without frame, they feel lost. If I don't lose my arms and put them back, as I told you, and just lead with my arm, with my chest, in this moment, they often feel very lost and they're afraid, because this gives them safety to have this frame, because this frame is really like kind of holding them, is giving them the space and a lot of informations, and that's why, yeah, this security is something they even don't want to miss, so they learn very quickly that it's needed.
Sure. And I 100% understand it and I agree with that. I definitely do. Uh, Talk to me about the dancing scene in Berlin. What is it like?
The dancing scene in Berlin is actually very cool and ambitious, and we have really quite a lot dancers, I would say. Not as the scene is in general comparison with other Kizomba cities, like known for Kizomba, like Paris or Amsterdam, or I don't know which French cities also. But I know that all over Europe and internationally, it's one of the cities that has less dancers, I would say, but we we are still one of those who are like quite good from the size, and we have also quite a few festivals from time to time. We have a lot of teachers, We have quite a few DJs, and we have local parties, at least two, always at the same days, like they are really fixed. So we have really students, dancers, parties, organizers. It's a quite good to dance Kizomba here.
It's awesome. I was looking at your Facebook page, and you have this word I had never seen. I'm gonna try to pronounce it, but is it douceur or douceur?
Douceur, yes,
Douceur. What does that mean?
You know, douceur, douce, this is actually a French word. And it means, I don't know if I translated correctly in English, it's like softness, like something smooth, like sweet smoothness, sweet softness or sweetness, something like this. They had explained to me, and sorry if it's not exactly correct, but this is how I got it translated from someone. And it is actually not Kizomba. It doesn't have anything to do with Kizomba, and even with Urban Kiz not. It's more something where energy and musicality exchange, and feeling, listening, feeling, meditating, letting go, embrace. All this plays a role. It's like being together for a moment, and not moving a lot. Like there are like movements, but very small, minimal micro movements, and mostly to the music. If the leader is a good leader, then there are a lot of micro movements in on all over the body. Like can be just breathing and release, or shoulder movements, or maybe weight shift from left to right, maybe some basic one, maybe a little steps. It's then a little bit or more dynamic to serve. You do slow steps and so on, but mostly happens a lot in the upper body, or maybe a little bit with the hips and with the shoulders, even with the arms a little bit. And then you connect it to your partner, and the leader is giving you like this little informations, and you as the follower are listening to what he's moving to, what in the music, and then you follow this movement, and then you are like, yeah, I don't know, like it's a fusion in that moment. Like you get together, and then at the end of the dance you say thank you, and everybody is going its way mostly.
I understand that. I equate that to being like present in the moment, to where you're able to listen to the music and connect with your partner. And I think I've heard this term. They say, Kizomba is two bodies, one dance. But you're not thinking about the past, you're not thinking about the future, you're just thinking about like this moment right now. So I think I understand what you mean by that. Do you think that there is a translation between, learning a different dance style and coming to Kizomba? So meaning like me, I have a background, or I first started with salsa and bachata, and then I got into Kizomba. Do you think that anything from learning those translates into Kizomba? Does that make sense to you?
I think the opinions might be different, but to me, sometimes it can be easier to teach someone with a bachata background how to dance kizomba in my classes, and sometimes it's even more difficult to teach them, because it depends on how, let's say, stubborn they are in their attitude. Because sometimes as they come from bachata, they don't want to stop moving their hips to the side, which is not correct in kizomba, or do they taps in a way that's not correct in kizomba, or like some there are differences, and then you need to get this out of them, because they're already used to do this, and then you need to tell them to not do this and that. And sometimes it's even much more difficult to teach them because it's so deep in their blood, in their body, that you can't get it out. And sometimes I think when they're really open and stop this bachata feeling of dancing and really like, no, this is something else. And either you are open for it or you are not. And if they are open for everything a teacher says in Kizomba and stops this kind of moving like bachata, maybe they could have been fast learners, like those who learn fast. But my experience had been that they took exactly the same time as some other students take and need. And this is something that they don't like really to hear or to understand. So you have more likely someone who can't agree to put them in a beginner class because they want to go already into the intermediate, because they say, I have already experience in couple dance, and then I'm like, okay, but it's totally different, and you need to come to the beginner class and watch how the stepping and the moving with the hips and all this actually is in Kizomba, because it is different than in bachata. And then there are some agreements, and then finally they end up in other classes, not mine, or they are open and we can start from the beginning. Yeah, so depends.
I definitely understand that. I want to ask you a very open-ended question. And I think this is a really good question for you because you both lead and follow. So talk to me about leading versus following.
Yeah, it's yeah, a question that requires actually a very long and intensive answer, because there's so much to say. But I need to bring things on a point. And I think in general, it's still so that most men are leading than women, and most women are following than men. But nowadays, it's not really welcome anymore to say man and woman. So we're supposed to say leader and follower. Okay, this first. Then the leading part has actually much more freedom in expression themselves, expression their own sense of musicality, and doing the steps they want to do. So they are more the ones who take decisions. Okay, the decision side, them expressing themselves, interpreting the music the way they interpret, dancing the way they feel. So they have, yeah, they can decide more. Okay, more autonomous, let's say. Okay, and the follower side is more the part that's listening to the leading part. It's more following. That's why it's called follow. The one is lead. Of course, they lead not only the dance, the follower into a dance. It leads in so many other ways. It leads you to dance on which instrument. It decides even to which instrument or voice or on none of those the follower dances. Sometimes it's not even in the rhythm, and then the follower is to only follow. So it's really like a little bit like the victim part, let's say, very exaggerated. Okay, but we are following, and the follower part is more open and willing to follow, to listen to the partner's point of view, how he or she interprets the dance and the music. So when he interprets to dance on a slow song fast, the follower follows, or differently. If it's a fast song and he dances slow, she follows. She can't really say, no, do steps now. There are sometimes women like this, but actually they follow. And if they don't want to follow this, then they switch partners. And the follower is also at the same time open to the musicality of her partner. So she needs to be open to dance only if it's let. Okay, it's supposed to be like this. But now when we go further, there's now a little bit a cult of that followers want to have 50-50 rights, and they want to have as more freedom as possible from the leader. It means the leader is dancing, then he stops or whatever, gives her freedom to express herself. Then she can do a body wave or some steps and come back within 3 or 5 counts. And then he's doing the lead again, then he stops again, gives her the freedom. So there are followers who really need that, want that, and expect that, and want to have as more freedom as possible, as much freedom as possible. And some leaders are not giving so much freedom at all, and some are really giving a lot. So it depends a bit on the taste, on the character, on what someone likes or not, or used to. I personally don't give a lot of freedom to the follower. I know that, and I know it could have been a bit more, I guess. But yeah, I'm sometimes a little bit afraid that I don't know, like it's another subject now. Okay, why I'm not doing this? It's a totally other topic. But yeah, actually, there's this separation, but the cult goes that followers want to lead. They want to have more freedom. They don't want to be the part that's only listening. They don't want to be like in this hierarchy under the leader. They want to be in the same level, like it's kind of being against the existing rules, and they also get what they want because it's really moving. The scene is moving, the dance is moving, there's a big movement, and a lot of things are slowly but surely changing.
Okay, I definitely understand that. I definitely do. Um, when I say the word musicality, what does that mean to you?
Musicality is how someone understands music, or a specific song in that case, and how this person decides to dance on this song, on the melody, and how and if the person hears other instruments or elements in the music than just dancing on the rhythm. Like if the person also if the person is able and feel the energy of the song and pick some instruments in the song and dance on it, and the way you see it and the energy you bring, the steps you do on the chosen instruments you do, all this is your personal musicality, your individual choice of dancing on that specific song. We both could dance as leaders to a song, and it could look totally differently, and it will look differently. And then for followers, it's like some followers told me, I'm going to use a sports machine. This one is this leader, because this leader is doing a lot of steps and he's dancing differently to the music than the other leader. So I'm using this sports machine, and then I'm changing to the other sports machine because he's dancing again totally different. And it's really, really so that everybody can interpret and dance to the same mood of a song in a totally different way. And this is musicality.
Let me ask you this. You kind of brought it up. I know nothing about this. How difficult is it for you as a follower having to adjust to different leads?
Yeah, you're adjusting, but you have also more variety. This is correct. I don't know. Like you have more different um dances. It feels like having different dances as the leader, because the leader is like kind of, yes, he's dancing with another person, and this person makes him feel a little bit different by bringing a different way of stepping. Maybe the weight shift is a bit different. One is lighter, one is more heavy, one is maybe putting a little thing of herself in the dance or not. But actually, this is such a little point only that the follower brings, in my opinion. One follower can be good, one follower be not so good. One follower can add a little bit musicality of her own, some not. But actually, the leader is the one who's kind of dancing almost only with himself, let's say, because he has his own repertoire. Okay, he dances what he has learned and what he has in his mind and the steps he remembers, because sometimes he also forget steps. So he's dancing, let's say during one night, 10 step combinations. Okay, let's say 20 step combinations. But the follower is dancing when she changes. When I dance with one guy, he's dancing, let's say 40 step combinations during this one night. Okay, but by changing every other 3, 5, 8 songs, I dance 40 with this one, 30 with this one, 20 with this one, then other 40, 100 with this one. So I have much more variety. I have much more flexibility. I have much more different experiences, good and bad, not so exciting, very exciting, but I have much more changes, you know?
Yeah, you're right. I always think to myself, I'm always going to lead the same as a leader, but you as your follower, you're gonna have to adjust. And I think that's so much more difficult as a follower, in my opinion. So I understand that. Let me ask you this. Uh, a question for, I guess maybe specifically leads. As a leader, how can I make the dance comfortable for both myself as well as the follower? What advice can you give me?
Comfortable. Less than more.
What do you mean by that? Less than more.
I mean, sometimes it's better to do less than more. Try to not impress, okay? Do less but nicely, smoothly, and clean, and nicely to the music. Listen to the music and dance this less basics or some intermediate, the beginning of intermediate level step combinations, some saidas, less but nicely, smoothly, without pushing and pulling your partner, with a good frame, a comfortable dance posture for both of you, straight, and lead her gently.
I think that's easier said than done, but I understand what you mean. Let me ask you one more question. I don't want to hold you too much longer. I like to ask all my guests this question.
Mhm.
Can you give me one tip, one piece of advice that can make anyone a better dancer immediately?
It goes to the direction that I already said. Stop doing all this fancy stuff. Stop this immediately. Like, forget it. and and work on your basics, like go back to beginner classes, go like now you are advanced, you know which teachers are really good, you don't have the excuse anymore. Go to them and tell them to teach you basics, and then work on this for a year, and then do take classes for musicality, and then do the basics musicality wise better, like dance the same basics but in a different way to the music, and then add some step combinations you already had before on this, dance them musically, and so on.
I said it was going to be the last question, but I got to ask you this, Dan. You brought up musicality. I think that's the same with frame. I think that musicality can be a very difficult concept to understand, but how does one improve the musicality? How do you go about that?
I mean, there are a lot of musicality classes. There are teachers that are known for their good quality musicality. Every musicality is unique, and actually you cannot judge this, that one is good and one is bad, but still there are teachers that are really known for their good musicality. They are really known for this unique way of interpreting. When you watch their demos or whatever, then you can see that he's really dancing on the music, and not dancing to whatever song was there. Sometimes it's like they are doing steps, and I could switch this off and put another song with the same speed, put the song on, and it would still look the same. It would look good, but it's not really musical. You can see, without that I say names, who is really a musical dancer, musical teacher. So ask those to teach you musicality. And for me, it helped also to play piano, because when I played piano, I learned different ways of pushing on this ding ding ding, like there are different ways and different speeds, and some are long, some are short, some are with energy, some are smoothly, and all this. And I already have a feeling for having this slight sensitivity to music, and and also with rhythm I have no problems. And I would recommend everybody to learn how to listen to music and find the one in the song, the like to learn the structure of a song, and then find the one in the song until 8 1 8 1 8, so that you are able to always to start on time, because I'm fan of starting on one, and then try to figure out what else is in the music. You can try it by yourself, but it's difficult, because listening and hearing out which instrument is there doesn't make you a musical dancer yet. It just helps you to understand what is in the music, but to dance on it, and to dance on it differently than others do, makes you is not enough to make you a musically dancer. That's why try to take musicality classes, and they are sometimes a little bit boring, but still do it.
I understand that. I always think that as you progress as a dancer and you start to hear the same genre of music more, you start to become more comfortable with it and you start to notice the patterns. And I think, would you say that noticing the patterns in a music genre is that you becoming improving your musicality skills or not at all?
My favorite musicality teachers would say no, it doesn't
No.
play any role. Like someone who understood what is musicality and dancing on the music, and by starting to listen to the music and already being able to dance on something, doesn't require that you know the song. But I personally believe either you know a break is coming or you don't. You know, either you know this and this is coming, or an effect is coming, or you don't. When you didn't listen to the song, you don't know the effect is coming. So how can you catch it, with your step or so? So I believe it brings definitely advantages to dance even more musical, even more advanced, like even better on point on the music, but you are still, that's correct, able to dance to any song musically, even if you didn't know the song. That's correct. Yes.
I think I lied to you. I want to ask you a couple more questions. I'm sorry. Is that okay?
Okay.
And it won't take long. Really, just this last one important. Tell me this.
Mhm.
What is one common mistake that you've seen in your class that you wish you could fix for everyone?
The mistake that I had done, or
Or
what?
the mistake that you've seen amongst your students that you wish you could fix for all of them?
I always come back to the subject, but it's the basics. Sometimes I wish that they all came to my beginner classes uh, from the very beginning, and then go wherever they want to. But I wish I could fix this. Yeah.
I understand that. I understand that. I wanna thank you so much for taking time out today to talk to me.
Mhm. Thank you so much for inviting me to this interview. It was a pleasure,
Mhm.
and I wish you all the best. And
Okay.
and I hope that you get even more followers for the work that you do, and that people listen to you. And if you need any help or any advices or whatever, ask me, and I will try to help you, recommend you people you can interview or stuff like this.
Hey, I'd appreciate that. Real quick before we close it out, how can people get in contact with you? How can they reach out to you?
To me, I'm always available on social media, Instagram, Facebook. They can find me there. My name is Damla Peker, everywhere. And yes, I have an email address also. They can contact me there. Yes.
And if they're ever in Berlin, one more time, please tell me about your dance class. Tell me about that, please.
My dance class is on Wednesdays. There is a fundamental course on Wednesdays at 7:45 for 1 hour. And the next course is an intermediate course from 20:45 for an hour. And they can reach me out for private classes. Just contact me. And I had done this already a few times with people I didn't even know who contacted me that they are going to be in Berlin for a certain time. So was also really meaning a lot to me that this person who doesn't even know me had heard from me and then wants classes and stuff. It's really a big honor for me, and I'm happy if I can help anyone to improve.
Awesome, awesome. Like I said earlier, I want to thank you so much, Ms. Dama. I thoroughly enjoyed the conversation. I really appreciate hearing your opinions on these topics. I really enjoyed it. Hey.
Thank you. I enjoyed a lot. Thank you.
Of course, thank you so much. Please enjoy the rest of your day, all right?
Yes, you too. Bye bye.
All right, take it easy. Ciao.
Ciao.